Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья!
Hello, dear friends. We welcome you again to our studio, Diaries of the Antares Festival, where we talk about the preparation for the largest film event this summer. This part of our diary, my beautiful co-host Vera and I continue to introduce you to those who are directly related to the first Antares International Film Festival. I remind you that our festival will be held from June 25th to June 30th in the city resort of Sochi. And I can wait to introduce you to our first guest. Today in our studio, the former Chief State Labor Inspector of the Russian Federation, Chairman of the Expert Council of the Antares Film Festival, Yury Gertziy. Hello, Yury Viktorovich. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the time to come to our studio. Yury Viktorovich, there are a little more than 3 months left before the start of the first Antares International Film Festival. Please tell us, what are your expectations from the film festival? Well, first of all, there are a little over 3 months left. This is a good period of time to clarify the positions that we want to see here, show, and draw attention to this film festival. Of course, the film festival is an important milestone in the lifestyle of filmmakers and above all, for us. It is a community of professionals working in the field of occupational safety and health. All managers work here, regardless of the type of organization, large or small. Everyone is responsible for occupational safety issues. Specialists who are obliged to deal with the topic of labor protection work here. And accordingly, the employees themselves. Therefore, I'm sure that our film festival will arouse great interest among the community, not only among those citizens who will come to watch films, but also among those who will be able to read about our festival, see what films were taken out, maybe see them somewhere in the future and use them in practical work. The main goal that we have for this festival is to once again draw the attention of all levels of managers and employers to the topic related to ensuring safe working conditions for all employees. Do you think the film industry is a good tool for popularizing occupational safety and health? I consider the film industry because no matter what kind of film you and I watch, fiction or I'd say documentary, we still see how labor protection issues are respected or not respected, violated or not, what deviations there may be. It can be seen by any viewer who's watching it. Therefore, I believe, and I would like to appeal to specialists in this field, let's make more films which shows the issues of compliance with labor protection rules for working with mechanisms, safe workplace, movement, crossing, street crossing, because we have a lot of injuries for transport reasons, there are deaths and so on. Therefore, the film industry is an important area that should promote and develop our citizens' understanding and sense of responsibility for compliance with labor safety measures and rules. Yury Viktorovich, I know that this is not the first film festival in your life. And in your opinion, what's the difference between Antares and other festivals? Well, the thing is, first of all, we gave it a very interesting name. And I would not like to tell the story related to this title now. It is now as a part of essence of the question. But in general, a film festival with such a theme is an important milestone, and even the award that we will give out, it is called for striving forward, light, dawn, illumination, and so on. Such film festivals should be held in an international format. And we will now hold in Sochi, as well as within the region or in the Federal Administrative District of the Russian Federation. We have many different studios and productions, and various large organizations have their own studios. Maybe we can look at what developments they are, what approaches there are in terms of popularizing the rules and conditions of labor protection. And what is a good movie for you personally? For me personally, a good movie for me is to sit, watch, relax. Some thoughts made me think about the meaning of this film, about the idea of this film. Well, I always make this conclusion for myself. What did this film give me? And what did he give me for the future? There are films that we will watch, and as far as I have information, we already received more than 300 applications. Of course, not all of these 300 will enter the competition, but every film that we will watch, we will look from the point of view of our festival, how the film affects the festival is dedicated to. That is protection labor. And for me personally, each film is some kind of conclusion, some kind of position that confirms my attitude to this or that topic, or aims to reconsider which position and work on something new for myself. Yury Viktorovich, thank you very much for such an interesting interview. There is something to think about. I hope that working as a member of the expert council of the Antares Film Festival will be an interesting experience for you. Thank you. I believe that we have already gained a little experience when we held the Autumn Festival and completed it at the October cinema with short films. And having a reaction to that feedback these films received among our viewers, and above all, among specialists in the field of occupational safety, I hope that this film festival will be also effective and useful. So, good luck to our festival. See you in Sochi. Thank you. And we continue. Dear friends, Alexandra Vasilevskaya, a member of the selection committee of the Antares Film Festival, will appear in our studio very soon. It is Alexandra who accepts and registers all applications for participation in our film festival and distributes them into various categories from which the whole nomination then grow. Hello, Alexandra. Hello. Alexandra, please tell me how many applications have been received for the Antares International Film Festival today? We have received around 400 at the moment. Since our festival has the status of an international one, which countries have expressed a desire to participate in our film festival? There are actually a lot of them, more than 10 probably. And we are very friendly with China now. And we were overwhelmed by Spain. We have Italy, France, Iran, and of course, a lot of them are from Russia. Alexandra, please tell us how is the working day of a member of the selection committee? Actually, it's not as interesting as I would like. I would like to sit at home with popcorn, relax, but look at everything for a very long time and dreadly. We have a huge team and we try to fit into our regulations and pull up all the participants who drop out of it. That is about 10% people. People fill out the correct form but make mistakes. Somehow and somewhere they don't indicate their phone number, somewhere they don't indicate where this movie is at all. Either it's a short film or it's a documentary. That's right, they don't specify the competition, and we still try to call them, find their phone number, ask them to fill out the form and pick their work. In your opinion, do many interesting films come to the film festival? After all, these are films that were shot in the 22nd and 23rd years, according to the rules of our first film festival. Actually, when you watch non-stop all the films, you're already gorging on the movies, and there are very few good ones, because now no one thinks about meanings, unfortunately. I want the movies to have meaning, and it should also carry emotions. And when there's something running, jumping, or bumping somewhere, and they see this is as art, You don't understand where you can put it on the screens. Still, I want to discover new faces. I want to discover a hero. It's very difficult to find a hero in cinema right now. And the genre is also very confusing. Mostly students send their works, and therefore I want to teach them somehow to find the talents of a new director. It's very difficult right now. You had a beautiful girl with a candle of desire. It's beautiful job. And I can single out the single one, Leningrad Lilac. It's sunk into my soul. So far, 2 out of 400 works. Can you imagine? There are only 2 works that are very, very vivid and memorable. Thank you, Alexandra, for an excursion into the working day of a member of the selection committee. The selection process will end on the 10th of May. What will happen next? Next, we give what corresponds to the regulation to Alexandra Zhukova. This is the program director, and she is already forming all participants for our International Film Festival. That is, the program of the film festival will be created, which will be shown. That's right. Well, Alexandra, thank you very much for participating in our film festival diary. I hope to see you in Sochi at the site of the Antares International Film Festival. Andrei, did you know that according to statistics in Russia, as well as all over the world, cinema is created mainly by men, and women in this field occupy about 20%? Well, the more valuable is your feminine look. The next guest of our release will be Margarita Kharkovskaya, a participant in the competitive selection of the Antares Film Festival. Let's talk about her short film, You Smell Like Pilaf. Hello, Margarita. Thank you for coming to our studio today. Thank you for inviting me. Margarita, in the description to the application for participation in our competitive selection, you wrote the following about your film. Amir is only 6 years old, and he and his father are moving from sunny Tashkent to cold Moscow. The boy has to get used to a new country and culture. All the friends and games were left behind there in Uzbekistan. In Moscow, Amir meets a new neighbor in communal apartment, Vanya. They're almost the same age. A strong friendship is formed between them. However, Vanya's mother isn't against the boys' union because of national prejudices. Will the guy be able to stand up and preserve the most valuable thing they have, friendship? Margarita, tell us please about the history of the creation of the film You Smell Like Pilaf. How did you come up with the idea and how did you implement it? The story of the film's creation has its roots in the university. I graduated from the BGIK last year with a degree in multimedia directing from Helena Georgievna Yeremenko's workshop, and we had an international workshop with Ecuadorians, Chinese, a girl from Japan, a Hungarian, and Armenians. Since I was the headman for the entire period of study in the first years, we communicated closely. We had to help the guys with the translation of lectures and contacting teachers. There were a lot of questions, and that's why we got closer. There were different situations. Someone lost their passport, bureaucratic red tape. We had to fill it out, where to go, who to contact, and I didn't always know and understand how to deal with these problems. And what was it like as a foreigner? Closer to the diploma, I thought that I needed to highlight this issue. And initially, we wanted to take an American to play with some stereotypes, but when we realized and started writing scripts with the screenwriters Masha Tremasova, I realized that America was not close to me. I don't understand their mentality. Still, you need to feel it somehow. And I decided to choose a Chinese guy because the Chinese guy became my closest friend. And I tried to understand their culture. But it turned out that everything was not so simple either. To this day, I don't understand the agreements between us, their mentality, but they're wonderful people. It didn't work out with the Chinese guy either, but when the main character was Chinese, my master called me and asked if I had a foreign passport. I said Yes. So in the fall, we were flying to Uzbekistan, to Tashkent for the festival. Well, as a part of the festival, we would show workshops from VGIK, and I took it as a sign from above. I wrote to the screenwriter, let's try to take the Uzbek main character. The work has started. And I had a burning idea that I could come to the country, talk to people, buy some souvenirs, props, and all of that. And that's how it all started. So it turned out that friendship has followed from life to the screen. Yes. Margarita, why is it children's cinema such a difficult direction? Well, I can't call it very difficult. It seems to me somehow it's very important to make children's films not only for children, but also for adults, because in our world there's not enough kindness, warmth, fairy tales to some extent, and I want to tell children that you can be friends with people of any age, regardless of nation and country. It doesn't matter at all. We do not choose who to be born with or how or where. Besides, there is a visual culture of consumption now. I think it's very good to raise children not on the classical literature, but also on good films. And I want to believe that the formation of our younger generation will be based on mutual understanding, warmth, and kindness to each other. Well, for myself personally, why children's movies? I think because it's more interesting for me to work with children and to find a different approach to them, to feel and understand their interpretation, how they see the script, how they see the world. Because it's also pleasant and interesting to work with well deserved and professional actors, but they still have a different status and they do not accept all my ideas. And it's easier to build a hero from a child that I made up for myself. Margarita, why do you think your film is relevant today? Now, more than ever, migration is popular, and this can happen during studies, people leave for work, just reset themselves and start life from the scratch. And it is important to understand that it can be difficult for people who find themselves in such a situation. And if there is an opportunity to help, then you need to help. Unfortunately, I cannot speak in details on this topic because I have never been in the place of an immigrant, but I have many people in my environment who have encountered this, and their stories also are instructive and interesting on their own way. Margarita, but I'm very interested in how the shooting went. Tell us a little bit, maybe some difficulties, some funny stories happened on the set. Mm. Well, I can tell you about the pre-production. This probably was the hardest stage for me because this was my graduation film and I started preparing for it in advance. And first, in the summer, we wrote scripts, and in the fall, we approved them from the masters, launched them at the VGIK Film Studio, and the most interesting thing began the selection of locations and the search of the actors. And while writing the script, I realized that it was unlikely that I would be able to find an Uzbek child in Moscow, even with acting skills. On weekends, I went to VTNH because there is a huge crowd of people and families working there. And also, I approached people. At first, it was scary. Then I got used to getting colder. Autumn was approaching. Someone gave their contacts, someone was afraid. Imagine that a girl comes up to you and offers to star in a movie on the street, and you are from another country. Then, when I put myself in the place of others, I realized that this approach won't work. That is, you need to show your passport or student ID to show it to somebody you're going to work with. It's hard to look outside. That is, the world turned inside out. I'm a citizen on the subway, but in the end, mine was waiting for me at the mall. I met Ilyas Abdurrahmanov and his family. He's an actor who plays a role of Amir. I know that he likes to shoot videos for social networks, but to be filmed from behind the camera and have a large number of people around, he had no such experience before. And I'm leading up to the casting. Casting turned out to be the most useful stage for me because children from Tashkent, from different regions who study here in Russian schools, came to us and they told their impressions of the script. They told their life experience about discrimination in schools and in the classroom. And it was useful for me to listen to it. In order to rethink what I'm very grateful for them. At all stages of production, the workshop of Farhad Bahadyrovich Mahmudov helped me a lot. These are our geek actors. The course is entirely from Uzbekistan. The guys helped me at every stage, during the script and during the filming process and at the post, for which I'm very grateful to them. I can't call it difficulties because all that we have gathered are mostly geek students from the film crew and actors who liked the idea, who burned with the script and gave themselves completely, for which I'm also immensely grateful. An interesting point that was the actor we found, he's not Uzbek, he's Kyrgyz. And for some reasons, it formed in my head that the future Kyrgyz couldn't say the Uzbek phrase perfectly. And fortunately, it turned out in post-production. When I showed the focus group the draft version, they said, well, listen to what he says. The phrase in Uzbek, which it would seem is not so clear. There was a second point, very difficult casting, search for someone who would resound the same voice. Well, at least similar to this unfortunate one phrase in Uzbek. As a result, we also tried all the guys who came to our casting, but the tone voice didn't match there. Because Amir speaks the whole film in Russian, and the only this single phrase at the beginning he spoke in Uzbek. And the actress from Farhad Bahadyrovich studio helped us to repeat this phrase, and that's how we got out of the situation. As a viewer of your film, I will say that I absolutely did not notice anything, and if I hadn't been told this secret now. Together with all our viewers, we're now listening for sure. Margarita, in just 3 months, we will have big opening of the Antares International Festival. Please tell us, what do you expect from the film festival beside this statuette? I'm interested to hear what people of different ages think about the film, how they perceive it, whether it makes you think about anything. And from the festival, I want communication, new acquaintances, the opinion of the professional jury, and friendship. I ask you to reveal a little secret. What are your plans for the future? Well, if I would like to live this life and enjoy every day. And from professional plans, to take place as a specialist, continue shooting, and make our debut as a full matter. When can we wait for the debut full matter or any other of your work for your fans? Tell me, please. We're not guessing, but I hope soon we will work. Margarita, I wish you good luck in the competitive selection of our film festival and in all your wonderful work. Thank you very much for visiting us today. Well, the next issue of our diaries has come to an end. We thank everyone who took part in it. And I remind that all relevant information about Antares International Film Festival is always available on the official website of antares.film and on the social networks of the project. Subscribe and follow for updates. See you soon. Have a nice day.